Hello, everybody. Nordista Freeze here with a beautiful candle that I received for Christmas from my parents or Santa. Maybe. I cannot remember. Might have been Santa. Um, what's up? Yeah, I'm Nordista Freeze. You're watching or listening to Freeze TV. And this is a show called Fun Zone. It's a show where I just talk to different people about different things, learn a little bit. This is episode 58. And, this has been a quarantine project for me and hopefully one that will continue beyond. But today's guest, Nikki Barber, is one of the last people I was able to collaborate with on the road before all of this went down. Nikki is in a band called the Minks, amongst other musical and creative projects that we're going to be talking about today. But yeah, like I was able to play some shows with the Minks in 2020, right before this all went down. So it'll be cool to, catch up and see what's been going on and how Nikki's been finding ways to stay creative. I know she has. She's a total beast of the scene, and it's been really cool to get to become a little bit more friends. I got to play the Minks album release of the High Watt, which was crazy, and yeah, feels like a dream, right? So anyway, let's welcome Nikki into the chat. Nikki,
What's up?
what's up, dude? You're sideways.
Oh,
You know why?
is that better?
Oh yeah, now you're. Oh, either way, what's up?
How you doing?
Uh, good. I think I feel pretty good today. I feel ultimately not very good, but I feel pretty good today. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like asking anyone like how they're doing at this point in the game is like you can't if anyone's just saying fine like that's a total lie just because what the fuck.
Right. Well, I want you to believe me next time I say it, so I have to be honest this time. I try.
Yeah.
Which it's hard though because I like to be optimistic, but I feel like I'm not even optimistic. I would be like dishonest. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I think especially like right now we need truth more than anything, so
Very good. That's very very well put. I like your
so
beautiful room that you're in right now.
thanks. This is my nook. Like this is where I spend probably like 95% of my time.
Oh, really? Like creatively
Yeah.
or just anything like reading?
Anything. It's like well, this is in my room, and then it's like the corner of my room, and I read, I do little meditations, I do everything. I play guitar here all the time. It's like it feels good. So
That's cool. That's cool.
yeah.
You inspire me right off the bat. I just have to
Oh,
say because for so many reasons, and one of them is that you do other things beyond like the Minks, which is like an amazing project. But I've been seeing that you're like working on some other music, like this Mama's project
yeah,
you have
yeah, with
with
Alicia. Yeah.
yeah with Alicia.
Um, yeah, it's I I've come to realize that like I just like to do creative things no matter what. Like I don't think I'll ever just be like a musician or
Yeah,
like I do so like I make clothes, I'm a seamstress, so I do that as well. Like
yes,
I
the
just
Nikki Stitch project.
yeah, I used to think that was like a bad thing. Like I was like, what's my thing? What am I gonna do? And then I realized like, oh, I can do whatever the hell I want. Like,
Yeah,
and that's like a very freeing thing. That
yeah.
took me a long time to like understand and be okay with. So
That's funny
yeah.
because I feel that exact same insecurity, but yet that's like the thing that's like what makes you so cool to me. Like I think you're so cool because you do so many things, but then I also understand because I feel that same like thing where like, man, I wish I was just like good at something. Like I wish I was just like just knuckle down and be like win the gold medal in like an Olympic event and be like, yep,
Right.
I'm the king, you know?
Yeah, totally. It's like I'm like, oh, if I devoted all of my time to just like playing scales or doing whatever, I would be the best musician ever. But then it's like
Yes.
I don't would I be having fun at that point? I don't know. I feel like I do what feels right for me, and I just like being surrounded with different creative things and fun things to do. And I also find that like when when I really let myself like have fun in another creative aspect, especially drawing or taking photos, it expands my brain in a different way too when I
Mhm.
come back to music or something, or especially like songwriting. I feel
Right.
like it inspires me in different ways. So I think it actually is important to try out different things.
Yeah, especially I guess with artistry, like music artistry, there's so many different pieces to the package before it becomes like a released like album. Like y'all put out an entire album that's like to
Right.
vinyl and everything, and it's like, what you're wearing, and so who designs the cover, and the production. I mean, there's so many steps along the way. There are different like artistic and collaborative decisions that to be like singularly just focused on being like a songwriter or something would actually maybe be make it harder to like pursue this like whole artist
That's
thing that you're
true.
doing.
Especially in this day and age when it's like everyone wants a package, but I think you can do that like honestly,
Yeah.
and with integrity. But it does help to like know how to do everything, because we're living in this crazy time where obviously it does help to like be on a label, or have like more than one person on your team to like spread the news, but we can really do it ourselves, like
Yeah,
we have
totally.
we have the means right now. So it's just like, how creative are you willing to get? How much effort are you willing to put into your own thing at this point? Because it's like, if you're willing to put in a lot of time and effort, like, you can get pretty far on your own, I think.
I think so too. Whoa, what is that?
Oh, sorry, I had my alarm clock was going off.
That's okay.
4 p.m. everybody.
It's 4 p.m. and the sun is still pretty high in the sky, which has been really
It
encouraging.
is.
Yeah.
It is. I guess not really this week because it's been pretty cold, but there's been a few pops of like spring is just around the corner. Those moments where you get like a wisp in the
Yeah.
air and you're like, oh, I'm gonna be able to like sigh some relief in some way.
Yes.
I don't know. Spring, like, obviously shit is crazy in this world and it's going to continue to be crazy, but like spring is just like always nice no matter what.
That is true. That is true. It is, I think I can't tell if I'm ready for it. I always want at least a little bit. I want it to be at least a little brutal. I feel like this winter has been so weak.
Oh yeah,
I want to just like at least
we
like
need a
two
Nordista
days.
freeze.
Yeah, come on. I'm the freeze. You know what I want. I want like 2 days where I like can't leave the house because it's like so frozen over, and I
I
can.
do.
There's a big hill. I can sled down right over there. I love it. I don't know.
Yeah, I miss that. That's like about living in Nashville. That's my
Where are you from?
biggest complaint. I'm from Pennsylvania originally. So,
Really? Which part?
I'm from like South Central, in Gettysburg is
Cool.
kind of what most people know about because of the Gettysburg Address and stuff. But I'm like 2 hours from
Oh,
Philly. I grew up
yeah.
there, but yeah.
Is that a place where like I'm just thinking like in terms of like tour routing, is that a place that you would play? Because when you're heading to New York, there's not a lot of stops once you get up, especially to like Philly. Um,
Yeah.
I
Well,
don't know.
we
You ever
always
play there?
I like to play. It's like it's pretty small, but I like to stop there or somewhere near just because I have friends and family who will come out, and it's always kind of weird and fun.
Yeah.
But it is pretty tiny, but there's been a good music scene there. So I mean, people appreciate it, which is good. But yeah, it's pretty tiny. It's like known for the Civil War, so I mean, people are just walking around in like Civil War costumes all the time. There's a
Whoa.
like a resident Abe Lincoln who just like dresses up as Abe for everything, but then also just goes to Walmart but still like looks like Abe Lincoln. And it's just
That's wild.
it's
Wait, and
weird.
are
It's
you
fun.
from
We
there
would like
like forever, like eight till you were 18 or whatever?
yeah, pretty much.
Whoa.
Yeah, I grew up there. We would like go busking, some of my friends, and like next to like the ghost tours, and people would be like, can you please like play more authentic music, because they wanted like bagpipes and drums.
Whoa,
We're
that's
like,
crazy.
we're gonna play some Neil Young. But no,
That's cool. And then from there, did
it
you move
was
here?
Yeah. Yeah. I moved here. I was thinking about today, like 8.5 years ago, something like that.
Whoa, you've been here for a minute.
Crazy.
Yeah, that is
I
crazy.
have. It's really crazy to think about
Do you still like it? Do you want to
because
stay
I
here
never thought I
longer?
would live here that long either. Like that's what's weird. I yes, I love Nashville for what it is. I think it's like a fantastic hub for what we're doing for sure. I have, maybe because of like the pandemic and being stir crazy, I have been like, where do I want to go next? You know, that type of fantasy. But also nowhere's like super calling me. I don't know. I thought about upstate New York a lot to get out to the country again, but
Whoa,
I don't know.
upstate
I
New
like it in
York.
Nashville.
Wow, I've never even
Yeah.
like what's like Rochester or like Buffalo or like what's upstate New York? I don't even know what.
Rochester's all the way up there. I mean, I do love Rochester. It's beautiful. It's like so cute, especially when it's the snow's on the ground and everything.
Yeah.
Like Woodstock area too, just a little like
Hmm.
it's just so beautiful up there. But there is a lot of snow. That's the good and bad.
Yeah, right.
But
That'd be a crazy move. Would you still keep doing the minks and stuff?
yeah, that's my biggest thing of like why I think I don't leave.
Hmm.
Is because this is like the best spot to really pursue music if that's what you're trying to do, you know. And I've just had I've had luck doing it here, and it's fun, and you're just like in a city where everyone cares about music. It's kind of cool, you know.
Yeah, yeah, it is really cool. Whenever like things open back up, do you think you're gonna keep touring and stuff, or do you have like a
Oh yeah,
like where are you at with all of that stuff? I guess.
I would love to. It's I don't know, it's so hard to like fantasize about because like who really knows
Right.
what touring's going to look like. It may just be weekend stuff for a while, you know, or
Yeah.
outdoor shows for a minute. Just so I don't really know what touring actually even looks like, you know, to say if I want to do it or not. But I definitely want to get out to different cities and play in front of people again. That's like just the best feeling to be, you know, to be playing with feeling the energy of everyone like giving it and giving it back, and
Yeah.
it's something crazy. And like this, I guess like in some weird way I'm like addicted to it because it's just like I love it and I feel so good doing it. And that's like when I'm doing that and it's a good show, whenever, like that's when I'm like, this is my purpose, you know.
Yeah.
And so I don't
Totally.
really, I don't see myself like ever stopping doing that. And but yeah, I have no idea like when we'll be able to tour in the same capacity that we toured before. But I
Yeah.
definitely want to like keep playing music. Um, Obviously, I don't know. This whole thing has made everybody like stop, you know, and
Yeah.
think about it.
Right.
Like, what are you? Are you gonna tour again when you can? I can't imagine you not touring.
Yeah, I want to so bad. Like I don't. Yeah, I'm kind of the same way. I don't think I don't perceive myself ever stopping. Like I think I'll be like Willie Nelson one day or like Dylan and just like still be going out there when I'm like 80. It
Totally. Why
I
not? You know?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's just what I love the most. It has been, I don't know, yeah. My brain is like jumbled because I just don't know exactly. Like I've been heartbroken so many times because like when the tour
Mm-hmm.
was canceled, that was heartbreaking. But I had Lee, who, you know, for those who know, who
Yeah.
works with you and I, Lee and I were working on more shows for May, and then like those got canceled. Then we had more for June, and those got canceled. And then
Yeah. It was like being like a mouse with the cheese out front of you, you know, just
yeah,
like, oh, 2 months later, 2 months, you know what I mean? Just like
totally.
it. I feel like I get what you're saying. I feel like it was weird too because you didn't even have like time to process what was going on exactly, or like how long it really was going to be, or like it really took me until the beginning of probably like December, really, where it really started sinking into me, like, oh shit, it has been a really long time. Like, not that I didn't feel that
Yeah.
a while, but like really like, oh my God, okay, we're on standstill, and I think it's just a lot to decompress.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
it is
yeah.
it's heartbreaking. Your heart literally aches for like for these passions that we have, and so it's really hard to not be able to do it in that way. And I feel like you
Yeah.
and I are probably similar in that, like, we really get off on the live aspect of it as well. You know what I mean? Like you obviously do great things in the studio too, but I feel like some people like just want that and they're fine with that and that's cool. But
Totally.
like I need that energy release, you know what I mean? Or and so that has, yeah, it's weird to not have that.
Yes, I completely agree, and I feel like I don't know. I, it the pandemic has obviously affected most like worst people who are like in really deep financial trouble, like people who like literally can't afford to eat. Like those people, my heart goes out to the most. Um, so I don't mean to like create a sob story for myself, but like I do also feel like artists and people who like live off of like the entertainment industry in general, like any type of performer, like losing touring was like I've lost like it's like losing like my social thing that I do and my work thing that I do and like
Oh,
my
that's all I
creative
did.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like they're all gone now, and it's been so long, and like I don't know. I just it's really hard to like look at the way American culture has handled the pandemic and not just feel like it's like I get not playing shows, like I get why that's the right thing to do, but I'm also see that there's like a lot of contradictions in the culture, like certain things that we are allowed to do and aren't allowed to do. And for some reason music just kind of
Yeah.
ended up being one that we're not allowed to do. And I don't
Yeah.
really think
It's
that's
like
fair.
it's frowned upon.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And like you can walk around town and see places full of people. And maybe you'd say, well, they shouldn't be there either. But like it's kind of like, well, if you're a bartender, it's like, oh, you got to make money. Or it's like
Mhm.
if you work in a kitchen, it's like we get that because you're trying to pay your bills, but like we can't pay our bills either, and we're really sad and
Right.
like complete like wilted flowers, and it's just I don't know. I just wish there was like some acknowledgement of that, or like by anyone, whether it's like the government or like by culture. But it seems like we're just kind of has just been like tossed to the side, and that's like hurt pretty bad for me. You know?
Yeah. I get that because yeah, I feel that too. I mean, yeah, it's such a hard, like, it's such a hard gamble because yeah, it, probably nobody should be anywhere doing anything just to like get rid of it. You know what it's like, but
Right.
obviously we've proven that that's not how we're gonna act or react to it. So it is kind of shitty that a lot of artistic things and ways that people really communicated and were collectively together, like it's hard that a lot of that's been shut off.
Yeah.
Like you said, like I seriously got all of my social outings and everything from playing music or going to see a friend play. And like
Right.
that's when that when that when everything was first shut down, that really hit, like, holy shit, my entire schedule consisted of like
Yeah.
going to shows and seeing that, and I didn't even really think about it, and then I'm like, wow, I don't know what to do with myself now. And it is weird that you can't, like, nothing can really replace that. Like, I mean, you have live streams and stuff now, but that's still, I mean, I get that it's all we have, but also like I don't really want to be in a chat room with someone catching up.
Yeah.
That's not how it works for me.
Totally.
And
Totally.
so it is frustrating to be one of those people who does thrive off of like the social aspect of it. And
Right.
it's crazy, yeah,
Yeah.
to just have that removed, and to
Totally.
not know. Yeah, it's not like they're really trying to, I mean, people are trying to get music back, but it is there's a lot of pushback, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, totally. Being someone like yourself who is so like creative in so many different ways, have you been able to at least artistically find other like avenues to stay feeling like you're like, I don't know, healthy in a creative way, like still being able to like water that uh those plants, you know, keep everything like the dirt fertile, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? Just staying fresh.
Yeah, I've been trying to. I mean, it is hard, like going in and out. But I actually, my grandpa gave me some of his old cameras, and so I've been picking up the old film photography.
Oh,
Um,
cool.
so that's been really fun. Here, I have my camera here actually.
No
It's
way.
just a cool Pentax. So yeah,
Oh, sweet.
yeah. So and I don't know it. My grandpa like loved photography, and so it was kind of also just
Wow.
made me feel like more closer to him too, which that was a really hard thing about the pandemic was that my grandpa's 90 and I went up and saw him once, but like we couldn't. I literally had to stand in like the other room and say hi to him, and so that was heartbreaking. So I
Yeah,
think that also made me like want to pick up his camera. So
totally.
that's been really nice.
Is
um
is that like a is that what they say like it's 35 millimeter? Is that what that means? Is that what that is?
yeah, yeah,
It's like an old
it
school
is.
type of film or
It is,
something.
yeah. You can change the aperture and do it. You pretty much have like full range, so it's pretty cool. And yeah, it takes real film. It's it's been fun to kind of learn how to do that a
Yeah,
little bit. I don't really like I don't really know what I'm doing or anything like that. I just kind of feel it out and have fun with it. But
yeah,
but it's really fun. I
yeah. That
love.
is cool. Do you think you would ever like if you're traveling or maybe on tour again? Do you think you'd take it and like take some different
Oh
pictures?
yeah.
Is it more like do you like more like scenery, or is it more like shoots, or is it more just like taking pictures of something that's happening that you want to capture?
I think, well, I've pretty much just done in the moment type things. Though I actually do think it'd be fun to kind of like set up some scenes and, you know, go that route too.
Yeah,
I have some ideas for that. So we'll see one day. But yeah, I mean, I I feel like it will always be like a part of me from now on. You know what I mean? Like anytime I go on a trip or anywhere, I bring it along now. So
that's
yeah,
cool.
it's nice. I feel like also obviously I don't know, it's nice to have something that like you really do have to be precious about, like your phone, you're like, oh, I can take 15 photos, it doesn't matter, I'll probably delete them all later, but like
Yeah,
but with the camera you're like, no, it has to be the most precious moment framed just right, and oh my god, and oh, stand there in your hair, it's like,
yeah.
um
That's a ton
or
of
even
pressure.
that moment where you're just like click and then you're like, I hope I got it, and you like get the photo back and it's like someone's perfect expression or something. It's just like, holy shit, I nailed that moment. That's cool.
Yeah, dude, that
That's
is really cool. That's sweet.
yeah.
That's
So
awesome.
yeah, that has helped.
That's a cool
Um
lineage too, like getting it passed down from your grandfather as well. That like adds
mhm.
like a really special piece to it.
Yeah, I like get excited to share them with him, when I get my film back and stuff. So it's fun. But yeah, I've been doing that, and then I've been, like I said, yeah, sewing a lot. That's been different creative outlet as well. And so that's been nice to do. I still
Yeah,
write music too. It comes in waves. It's like everyone keeps being like, I'm sure, as anytime there's like something in life that happens, everyone's like, well, you should write a song about it.
yeah,
And I'm
yeah,
like, I want to. It's harder than you think, about
totally.
wrapping up a song about the pandemic, all in one.
Yeah,
um but I guess that you don't have to do it all at once. But yeah, I don't it's writing hasn't come super quickly a lot of this time. So
right. You
I
know,
don't know.
I just finished a song that I'm like just recorded a song. I've gotten to record a tiny bit. We got to record like with a lot of the with my band, like we tracked to tape in
Yeah.
Johnny and Bryce's house, who play my band some, although not on the tour you were on, because that band was
Yeah.
That band was brand new. I mean, they were my friends, but it was off like a Facebook application.
Yeah, I loved that that's how that happened though. That was a great story.
Yeah,
That seemed like
that
a
was
really
crazy.
fun band. That was actually that tour, like that was really one of the first things we did last year. And I remember like being on that tour, I was like, this is gonna be a great year. I was just like
Yes.
on such a high for the first few months, which is why it's like crazy. I know I don't mean to bring it. It's one of those things I'm like, okay, I'm done. I'm done. I'll get away from it. It's fine. And then like you're like, fuck, it's still here.
Yeah, that made it hurt a lot worse. That it wasn't like it was like, oh, like I got the gang back and we're gonna do some more shows. It was like this really unique group who like moved to. They like came into town. They all stayed at like Sam or Sma's like parents'
Mhm.
house, and for like 3 nights we just like practiced, and so everyone like was just meeting each other for the first time. So it was this
Yeah.
really special chemistry, and when it ended, it was like unbelievably sad. Like looking at everybody and being like, see
Oh,
you sometime. You know what I mean? It's like, well, I'm going
I
back to
know.
Colorado. I was like, dang, man, this really
Right,
is
you're not like hanging
real.
in the same town. Dang.
Yeah. And
Oh,
I don't
how
know.
did that happen? Like you guys actually went to South by, right? Or
Yeah,
or not?
we made it further than any other band, which is to say we definitely should have stopped earlier. But at that time, it wasn't as much like it wasn't like this thing you'd get canceled for. It was more like, it was just people just didn't understand it. It was just like we were
Totally. No, I mean
like y'all are crazy, you know?
I know that's how it was like such a big deal for us, like deciding what to do with South by, because then it was like some people were canceling, but other places were like, no, we're still doing it if you want to come. And so it was like, well, yeah, we should still go and like play. And then
Right.
it's like slow. It was so weird. No one really knew. Yeah, there like no one. Everyone was like super paranoid, but then it's like you didn't know if people were being over paranoid. It just
Right.
it was really strange. Yeah.
Totally, totally. It somewhere along the way shifted, and I think rightfully so. But from like, it's not about like now. It's not about taking care of yourself. It's about taking care of others. And like at the beginning, it seemed like it was more like taking care of yourself. And we were like, we don't care. We'll get whatever this thing is people are talking about. Like, give it to
Right.
me now, and I'll just keep touring.
Then I'll be
And
done.
like
Yeah.
if people are afraid that like ticket sales are gonna be down, we don't care about that either. We'll play for 5 people. Like, bring it on.
Right.
In my head, like NPR was gonna show up and be like, nobody's here, and we were gonna be like, we're still here. Like we'll play for 2 people, and then like we were gonna just like
Yeah.
be the
That would rise.
champions.
You'd go to the top just for that. Yeah.
But sadly, it just kept getting creepier. Like we had there were like 7 days of us just heading like straight west, and it was
Uh-huh.
like one day somebody, was it Bill Murray or Tom Hanks? I always get them both mixed up.
Tom Hanks.
Tom Hanks got COVID,
He
and
got it. That's when we were like, oh shit.
yeah,
I
it
just
got
remember that
real.
day.
Yeah, we were playing, and somebody just shouted it out. They were like, "Tom Hanks has COVID," and then like towards the end of this, somebody else was like, "The NBA is canceled," and we were like just on stage. And people were just like, people like gasping. We were like, "What? Oh, ha ha ha." Well, anyway, and
Yeah.
then it just like by the time we just kept playing, and like the shows just kept getting worse and worse. We played in we were supposed to open up for Surfer Blood, which was like going to be probably
Damn.
one of the craziest things in Baton
Yeah.
Rouge, and they dropped, but the venue let us play. So we played this massive venue to like 12 people, and then the next night we played in Houston to like literally like 2 people. And it was just like we were like, okay. And then Lee called me, and Lee was like, I think that, because back then there were always like conspiracies, and Lee was like, I think that like
Right.
Trump is gonna like shut down the highways. Like I think y'all are gonna be like stuck for a few weeks.
Right. There was that fear too. Yeah. No one. I remember that. Everyone's like, "Don't leave your house." Like.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it was so crazy. Yeah, that was. We were. It was weird. It was eerie, like being on tour and seeing it kind of take effect in different cities too. Because that was. We went. We played a show in New York, and it was like everyone I knew texted me like, "Hey, I'm not coming out just because like I don't know this weird virus." You know what I mean? And it was like at
Yeah.
that point of paranoia where everyone's like, I don't know if I should leave my house. And
Right.
so we played the show, and then like the next day Lee called me and he's like, hey, I'm pretty sure all the rest of your shows for this tour are canceled. You might have one last show in DC tonight. And
Wow.
we were like, fuck. And then we thought DC was gonna be canceled, so we're like, well, maybe we'll just stay in New York. And like, thank God we left New York because
Oh yeah.
got so bad right
Right.
after.
Right.
But yeah, we played one last show in DC, and like, and that was, yeah, at such a weird point too, because like the people who came were like, thank you for playing the show for us, you know what I mean? Like they were more appreciative kind of thing, like, we're still here, we're doing it. Yeah, so it was that weird thing of like, yeah, we're still showing up, we
Yes,
didn't
totally.
cancel, we're still coming, you know. And then
That
we
was
were
like
just
the
like,
cool thing to do. And then all of a sudden, like within a dime flip, all of a sudden it was like that was the irresponsible and very like not cool thing to do to like keep playing.
yeah,
You know?
well, that's all trying to figure it out, you know.
Yeah, right, right. Um,
Don't beat yourself up for it, but yeah, it's
yeah, totally. It yeah, I don't know how it's gonna return with I'm also just scared about like the way people react to each other online. Like I feel like it's kind of trite or now to keep referring to it as like cancel culture. I feel like we've moved past that. But it is like that like toxicity of like I am kind of afraid to like engage with society
yeah,
and culture in like a way when something is like so not allowed. Like I don't know who's gonna be the first one to do it or like make it's just like as a performer, I almost like I do take personal responsibility, but I also, um, in terms of like performing, do a little bit consider myself a variable that's a part of a bigger thing. And it's like when people are okay with coming out and everything seems to be, it's not as much to me about what my personal preference is as much as like what people think is right when it comes to performing. Does that make sense?
yeah, yeah. I mean, I think you have your own moral compass, and you know what feels
Right.
right for you. And then also there is like the population's line of what's okay versus not, and that is very valid. Like, yeah, you have to, especially in this day and age, everyone is so sensitive, and
Right.
and for a lot of good reason, for a lot of build up, you know what I mean? I'm not saying that people shouldn't
Totally.
be, but there, you really do have to like uh double check what you're saying, what you're doing, mean what you're saying. You know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
it's a whole thing. And so it is hard. Yeah. Because I mean, that's what we had to cancel a show. We thought we had to, yeah, we had to cancel the show. We thought it wasn't going to be a live stream, but then or we thought it was just a live stream, but then it was a show. And it's like, people aren't comfortable. And then it's like, you have, but it's at that point, I'm like, if people in my band aren't comfortable, I have to do what I have to do because that's their moral compass. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
and then, yeah, it doesn't seem like the population as a whole is excited about live gatherings. Really, I don't know. We played a few like outdoor things, and that was honestly fine. I felt
Yeah.
totally safe, and it was weird because like, I don't know. I guess I was just like super excited to play a show no matter what, and so that was great. But I'm also curious, like, how long can you last just playing shows like that where the energy is weird, everyone's still really far away,
Yeah.
like the energy is going to be different, but like, can we make it work? You know, I think we can, but
Totally.
I think it's like we're not going to have like those sweaty close together hugging it out rock shows for a while, which like, that's like my favorite thing in the world, so you know that stinks.
Yeah. Yes,
But
exactly.
but I don't know, when we were playing those shows, so many people came up to me and were just like, holy shit, I didn't realize how much I needed to hear live music or to be in this scenario, you know. And I felt the same way too, like
Totally.
playing those shows, I was like, oh my god, like,
Yeah.
I'll never take this for granted again, you know. And not that I even really feel like I did, but like really more even so, like, I'm like, holy shit,
Yeah, I
this
totally
is
agree.
crazy.
I've been able to play a couple too, like outdoor things in various cities, and I kind of just chose to like not promote it at all because I didn't know how the internet would react, and I just went and played them, and because I knew that if somebody was
Yeah.
showing up, everybody was consenting to like be a part of this, and um, they yeah, I mean they
Well,
were
I think even now, everything's so censored now. It's even like, do I post photos of the shows that we were at because like, does it look
right.
like too many people, or you
Mhm.
know, it's like there's just a constant worry of what's going to be
Yeah,
looked
totally.
at online, you know, because everyone is very quick to
Yeah,
to see
and
what they want to
people
see. So
people in
yeah.
different cities like are very like react very differently. Like the cities we played in were like one was like in Mississippi, and people there are just very very easygoing. You know, like they were wearing masks and taking care of themselves, but they're like you said, they were like we needed this so badly. It's been so sad, and I felt my purpose return to me. I was like, oh yeah, like when I'm on tour, I feel this like energy, and like to me, I grew up in the church, and I feel it like this, like the Holy Spirit, like that they talk about in church, where it's like I literally feel like I'm full of like a superpower when I'm on stage, and
Yeah. No,
um,
that's
you know,
real, man. That's real. I don't know what it is, but
yeah,
it's a power for real.
totally,
Whatever you want to call it. And it's crazy. Like you really have to be careful about like putting that into something else that's positive right now, because like energy, I don't know, like energy doesn't, go away. And so it's like you need to release that energy somehow, and we have that built up inside of us, and that thing that comes to us that we're not getting. And it's crazy to just have gone so long without feeling that, and
yeah,
that's what
totally,
I think. Still being creative is really important right now too, because it can be stifling otherwise, I guess. Yeah, I don't know.
yeah. Do you feel like as somebody who does so many different things, and I don't know, in a lot of ways you like I've said, you inspire me, and you're a person that like I see like in ways I want to like be personally. Do you? And I'm curious, just like, do you feel like how do you view artistry? Like, I refer to myself as a human and as artist, both as Nordista Freeze. You've got the Minks as a artistic project, and you're also Nikki. Do
Mhm.
you in a economy really like I think about it economically kind of, but in a world where like you can't really just like make enough money anymore. At least we can't. I can't. Just like touring and making albums, and so everybody does a bunch of different stuff. And in some ways, like that's just also what I like to do and what like you like to do. But in terms of like pursuing a dream or like I moved to Nashville, just the very basic narrative of like I've moved to Nashville to become a become a rock star or whatever, be a country singer. Do you feel um like those lines have been blurred a lot since you got here, like what it means to even like pursue or accomplish a dream? And is it something that you could ever like give up per se, or is it so intrinsically a part of you that you feel like, maybe it waxes and wanes, like maybe you have to get a side job that sucks, or you can't play live music right now, but no matter what you do, like that story is like intrinsically a part of you. Does that make sense? Or is it something that you can like give up and be like, I'm done with that dream, or like I'm done with that and I'm just gonna do something else?
I don't I don't know. I think I think it's in you no matter what. I think maybe even like sometimes there's like a message more so than like I'm a musician, I'm a seamstress, I'm whatever. You know what I mean? It's like an
Yeah.
overall message that you would like to present to the world in some respects. And like so that
Hmm.
for me is what I feel definitely like that's what carries me through, is to like, be spreading love and things like that. Like that's really important to me.
Right.
And so I think that like that, like no matter what I'm doing, that'll never go away kind of thing. So even if I'm not necessarily like playing, like putting on an album or something for a few years, I don't think that would like, that doesn't mean I'm just like putting it down and walking away from it. It's like I'm expressing this message in a different artistic thing at this point in time. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah.
So, but I do think I don't know, it's also just being a musician or anything. I think people think it's like, unless you're really doing it, which everyone in this town kind of is, like there's like a very big veil of what being a musician is, or like a rock star or anything like that. Like, and um, I think that can be misleading. And I think also like some people probably come here and get big the wrong way or for the wrong reasons, or I do
Right.
think there is like a blur in that sense. Like some of the people who I think are the best musicians in town aren't necessarily like the most recognized musicians
Yeah,
out there. You know what I mean?
totally.
And some are. I'm not trying to say that it's like all a crapshoot, but like there there is kind of a blur there. But I think the people who, you know, are always going to do it, like they do have this like weird thing inside them that like it's going to come out in some way no matter what,
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me. I feel like, you know, I'm at the age where I'm like a year or two out of college, and I feel like it does sometimes feel like some of the people I'm around or even myself are like at crossroads. It's a crossroads that I know I'm like, I know I'm not going to give up being an artist, but there are certain things that I even see as like a compromise. Like for instance, I now live with my family. Like this is I'm in the basement now, like my family's house, like classic narrative. And um to me, like people sometimes are like, well, sounds like over the pandemic, like you're hurting socially and financially. You should just get a job like that. But and I'm like, I understand that makes sense on paper. I could just do something like a lot of my friends do, like work in service or something. But like to me, that's like a compromise. Like if I do that, I'm giving up the dream,
Mm.
which is like a maybe too harsh of a line to draw for myself. But I'm just I'm like really afraid of losing myself like that.
Yeah.
And I don't know. And I feel like a lot of my friends and I we're like at this point now. Once school ended, it was like, and then the pandemic has hit. It's like I don't know. It almost feels like it is more black and white or more binary, where you can either like keep going forward or not. But I hope that's not true, and I don't totally think it is. But it's just something I've been thinking about a lot, like what it means. What was I
Yeah.
even ever pursuing to begin with? Because it felt
Yeah.
when I was a lot
Oh
younger,
man,
that it
I've
was
asked myself that
go
same
ahead.
question. What am I even pursuing to begin with? You know, I like
Yeah.
I've sat with myself with that a lot. But I think maybe that's maybe we needed to do that. I don't know. Like that's the I can't
Eh,
besides just saying like this whole thing sucks, which it obviously like does and has, like I'm like it also made me really think to myself like do I want to keep doing this? Do I want to do this? Cuz I know a lot of not a lot, but I know people who were like, you know, actually I don't think I'm going to keep going. You know, and that's totally cool. Like I don't even I mean, obviously I don't want to see people give up on their dreams, but like if, you know, I think some people wanted and needed to make some pivots, you know,
yeah.
and even with me like I feel a little different. Like I still want to tour and I still want to do stuff, but I'm not so even worried about like the timeline within doing it anymore. Like I'm like no, I really just want to do this because I love doing this, you know
Mm,
what I mean?
yeah.
Which like I don't yeah, and I think that's been good for me to like realize, you know what I mean? um
Totally.
and a little like took some pressure off too even, but I think that was good for me to like stop and think about. But I don't know, it is hard. I mean, and it's like I've had times in my life where like I had to get a job, you know what I mean, like to pay rent and to do it, and you got to do it. And also I do think like sometimes having it, I think it's good to like have to work in the restaurant industry, you know what I mean, like a little
Yeah.
bit you learn
Totally.
patience and you learn humility and you learn a lot of good things. But also I mean I do it does like it does hinder your art or your creativity a little bit. I mean just with like mental space, with time, you know, with anything, um it can. So it just really depends on what you can like, well, one, what you have the means to be able to do or not do. But I think I don't know, I also think though that like even when you were like even when I worked, like I still wrote songs, you know, I still did it. So I don't think it's like a bad thing to get a job. I think it's a bad thing to get a job and then like forget about your dream. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Which I think happens a lot. And I think a lot of times without people even wanting it or realizing it, you know. So I think that's important. Like anytime I've had to get like a shitty job or, you know, something like that just to pay the bills, like I've always in my mind been like, I'm not gonna stay here forever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like this is just to propel my dream to the next level. Like so I have money to do this or do, you know what I mean? Like that to me has been the only way that I've been able to like do those meaningless or mindless things and like be okay with it.
Yeah.
But even like I mean that's how with the pandemic, like I was like I could go back to work and be in the service industry, or I could just like really push doing alterations and stuff like that. And so there's also that.
Hmm.
It's like that thing of like, well, I don't want to like go and work this 9 to 5 job, so how the hell do I make it work? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, totally.
there's kind of a beauty in that too sometimes. Like
Yeah, it kind of like forces you to have a little bit of pressure, which sometimes in terms of like making art, having like a deadline or like a, I don't know, like I'm always on the brink of I mean, I literally don't know how I'm gonna pay for the things in music, like recording that I'm like stepping into in the next 2 months. Like genuinely, I will just have to figure something out. And that's not
that's
and
kind of how I am too. But I'm at the point in my life where I'm like, I mean, to obviously to a certain extent, but it's like I do not want to let money like hinder any decision I make, especially in terms of something I'm very passionate about. You know what I mean? Like you will find a way.
totally. Yeah,
You'll work your
you
ass
have
off
to.
somehow to get it done. You know, it's
Yeah. Yeah, I always tell my sister that I like to live light. Like I don't have a lot of stuff and money because kind of feel like I say it keeps me hungry, which maybe that's a little mean. I mean, there really are people who really are genuinely hungry and my heart goes out to them. But
yeah.
I just mean
I
like
get
if
what you're saying though.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, like if I'm just like if I don't have I don't know what I'm gonna do. Like I don't know, like I did a tour and I really did run out of money. Like in LA, like I tried to make it to the West Coast and back playing like house shows and just totally got swamped. Like money, gas is so
Yeah.
expensive. I was trying to do this thing. It's like 100 shows in 100 days, and I literally was like out there playing like on the side of the street to make some money to like go get like some food, and it was miserable. But in another sense, I felt totally locked in. So I was just like, this is like so like I'm working for this and I'm making this music because I have to, and it felt great. So
Yeah, it makes you mean it, you know? That's what I mean. Like when you're in that moment, you're like, well, I better like this, you know?
yeah,
Or
totally.
but I think those moments, yeah, are what make you realize that. Or like working in a shitty job, you're like, I don't want to be here. You know, like now I know this. Now I don't have to like wonder about it. I know I don't want to be here.
Yeah,
You
right.
know? So,
Yeah, I totally agree. Do you
but
have
hopefully,
do you have like a perspective on like virality and like I'm sure like being in like East Nashville, there's like a lot of nuance, like a lot of people pursuing different things and like you said, it's like a really integrated life of like work and art and culture, like all like it seems to me and as a little bit removed, like because I don't live in East Nashville, and I never have. It seems like kind of it's a beautiful ecosystem to me. Um, then there's
of
people,
artists and things. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, there's just like art and culture and but it's like a very like real place too. Like pretty much everyone has to work and because it's like expensive
Yeah.
and um, do
Yeah.
you?
Honestly, anyone who like is doing music or something like has 3 jobs, you know, like
Yeah,
that's just how it goes.
totally.
But but
It's real.
there is like a beauty in it of the like the hustle, you know, like people are hustling to make their dreams happen and in whatever capacity that is. But I don't know, to me I find that very inspiring, like
Yeah,
and stimulating, you know what I mean? Because then everyone's like in it and trying to do it and like, oh, let's collaborate, let's work on this idea, you know, and that's I think super fun. So I like
yeah,
it. It's weird to even like talk about right now because it's been like a year since the nightlife has been the same, you
yeah.
know, all
Right.
of it. It's weird. I don't know, maybe things have picked up. I really don't like go outside very often, or like I go outside but like I don't go out to eat anymore, or you know, I hardly go
Right.
and get coffee or anything. I really like I'll go to Shelby Park, you know. I don't I really just am kind of a hermit now.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Which I don't
That
even
makes
mind,
sense.
but it's weird for me to even like talk about the culture right now because I'm like I don't even actually know what the culture is
Yeah,
right
totally.
now.
Yeah.
They're building a Publix, so it doesn't seem like a good sign, and a Starbucks, you know.
Oh.
But
Yeah, right.
that the Starbucks did break my heart a little bit. Like I mean, I even like I've drank Starbucks before, okay, like you know, but I really did kind of have a little bit of pride that like there was no Starbucks in East Nashville, that it was just
Yeah.
local coffee shops. So that one did bum me out a little bit, but
Yeah.
yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know. It,
There's definitely no need for a Starbucks in East Nashville. Uh, I've been thinking about moving to Cookville, actually, by the way.
oh yeah.
Yeah, the East Nashville.
Mm-hmm.
An hour outside of Nashville, an hour 15, I think. Just to move all the way out to to there. I don't know.
That'd be cool. Hard to
Yeah,
even Nashville.
yeah, I don't know. It's not at all, but it like to me, I just think I have this interesting idea in my head where like maybe if I was out there, I could like afford a place to live, and then I would like still be social, but it'd be like a little bit harder. So like when things open back up, I could only show up into town like a couple times a week, and it would kind of
Mm-hmm.
move me, and maybe it
Yeah.
enough to where I could like have a house and like paint and write music and stuff. But maybe sometimes I'm totally idealistic about things, and they're insufferable in reality. So I can't
I
quite
don't,
figure out if I'm right or wrong about this one.
I don't know. I'm like kind of right there. I'm like debating about I keep like being like I'm gonna go to the country. I'm gonna just I actually like looked super hardcore at this house. Super hardcore. That's so dumb. I went and I don't know why that came out of my mouth. But I went like in the middle of the summer, went looking at this house that was, outside of town, farmland, and I was so set on it. And I don't know. I can't tell if it's the right idea or not because they would
Yeah.
like. I want to be. I'm kind of like I'm ready to be away from people. That's totally cool. Like a lot of the people in the world scare me right now. So yeah, let's get away. But I don't. Yeah, I don't know. Would it get too lonely? But
Right.
I think I do think it would be interesting, like you would have like a purpose every time you came to town. You would definitely like be here to get something done or do something. So that would maybe
Right.
be kind of nice to use Nashville just for like the town that I do stuff and then I leave. But
Yeah. Or even just not being cutting out a little bit of the social stuff, like when things are normally open. You know what I mean? Like sometimes if people ask me to hang out, I'm not gonna say no. But sometimes I'm like, man, I really gotta keep working on writing this song or something. But I'm like, wow, I get terrible FOMO, and I'm like, maybe if I was just in Cookville, I'd just be like, sorry, y'all, I'm in Cookville, I can't come, I'm too far
yeah, you're like
away.
I can't.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
you would
I
always
don't
have
know.
an excuse.
That's kind of or one other idea I have, by the way, that I also want to mention to you is I've been thinking about doing because I don't have any furniture anyway. I might just do like the 4 week long like Airbnb thing, and I could just like move to like different cities for like a month, and then just like kind of mess around. I don't know. Like
Oh,
Chicago for
you
April,
should.
you know?
You should, man. Just get out a little bit while there's time to go somewhere.
Yeah, just see some different
Or
places. Cause like on tour, all we do is like, um, you know, it's
I
like
know
a
everyone's like, "Oh, you
blip.
go everywhere," and I'm like, "Yeah, I saw like the back room, the green room, and like the block like down the street. That was it."
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. So it could be cool to like now so there's a few cities that I've been to that I'm kind of interested in a little bit more, like Chicago or like Charleston. Like there's some like South Carolina I always really enjoy.
Yeah,
It'd be fun to
I
just like
I love
do that.
Charleston actually. You
Really?
should. You should go check stuff around, and then hey, maybe you'll want to move there. You never know. You know.
Yeah, maybe so. Maybe so. And if a tour happens, then I can just put everything in like a storage unit or in my parents' place and not pay rent while I'm on tour. You know what I
There you
mean?
go. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's kind of what I'm scheming on right now. But I've also been like painting, and I've been trying to do some
That's
other
great.
forms of art, like you were saying too, that have like I'll go through phases. Like I try to stick to a schedule, and then like I'll just burn out. But I'm kind of beginning to realize maybe that's okay. But like I was painting like a lot. Now I don't paint at all. Like I did that for like 3 months, and I was like, this is my new
Yeah.
thing. And now I'm like, maybe it was a fleeting thing. But then I go
Maybe
back to
it'll
what we
come.
started this with, where I'm like, oh, I'm like, why can't I do anything for long enough to become a master? I've just been, you know what I mean?
But and I'm just here to tell you that like you'll get there eventually. No, you'll come back to it.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
I think it's totally healthy to like do something for a little bit and have fun with it, and then if you stop or you just like not beat yourself up about it, especially if it's something like that you're not necessarily like pursuing. You're obviously pursuing it while you're doing it, but it's more just to do it and to have fun. So
Totally.
I don't think you need to like get upset that that you're not like doing the fun thing every day, because then it might not become fun, you know what I mean, or
Right.
it might not stay fun. So it's like, just
Yeah.
do it. Just do it
Yeah,
till it doesn't feel right.
that's true. I had a lot of fun making albums in middle school. Probably more fun than I have now. And that's not to say that like my whole life is worse, but like music did, I don't know, have a lot of joy to it back when there was less stakes. So sometimes I feel like when I'm painting, I'm just like, I'm gonna paint whatever. I'm like, this is that same joy I used to feel about recording before I was like worried that the things I recorded didn't sound professional enough or what.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's like a hunger to like early stuff.
totally.
Like you said, but you got to keep the hunger alive, like you said. You gotta always, yeah, find the joy in it. I think if you don't find the joy in it anymore, that might be the time when you should put it down. You know what I mean? Like you're asking,
Hmm.
like, should you ever put it down? Like, I think if you're really not having a good time with something, in anything, like in a relationship, in your
Hmm.
job, in the restaurant you like to go to, you know what I mean? Like when it doesn't feel right anymore, I think you should trust your instinct and, you know, maybe put it down for a minute, and you can always come back to it. That's the thing. I think there's some like, there's such an obsession with like being the best, or like I have to
Yeah.
like go all the way. I have to get to that finish line. And it's like, maybe you can no matter what, but like you don't have to like charge ahead if you're not really feeling it either, because
Hmm.
then yeah, I just think you need to like love what you do. Life is so hard. Why I think we just need to find as much joy as we can. Like there's
Yeah.
already enough being thrown back at us. If we're not like finding happiness in the things that we're doing, then we should probably not do them.
Totally, totally. I think that is incredibly wise. Nikki, you are a very wise person, I must say. I've
Oh,
today in this interview, sometimes on Fun Zone, if there's a lot of episodes and sometimes I sync people, like sometimes because I'm so heavy right now that sometimes I'm like, hey, what do you think about this? And they're like, dang. They're like, I don't know. Like I'm like, oh,
oh,
I'm like, that was too heavy. But I don't know. You've offered a lot of wisdom and brought like a lot of life to me today and like really are inspiring me. Is there
oh,
here
good.
I'm curious, we're like we've got like 5 or so minutes left. I was kind of curious if I don't know. I'm curious where you feel like you've gained this wisdom. I don't know. That's kind of a broad, obtuse question, but like, is there like a path or like is there like a certain book or like, I don't know, person or something that's like really like carved your
Um,
path, or is it just a little this and that, just growing and trying to be open?
it's definitely a little this and that. I don't know. Yeah, there's definitely like books and things I could suggest to you. I mean, but really just from wanting to get, I don't know, I think it stems from being like unhappy a lot, and then just wanting to be happy. Like I just was like, I give in to the happiness, like,
Yeah,
and then so I was like, how do I find that? And then so once you ask a question to the world, then it like answers reveal themselves to you, and then so it's just been like a slow building of and asking people. Like I do have friends who are very spiritual and things like that. I definitely look to for answers and just for conversation.
yeah,
um but I think I'm not like, I'm very spiritual, but I'm like, I guess maybe more towards Buddhism and things, because I really like meditation and yoga and all of this type of thing, but I don't
yeah,
really say I'm one thing or anything like that. But that's
yeah,
why I think, yeah, just like little bits from everything. I find that like I just try to like devour as much information as I can, and then like find the truth, or what resonates with me.
yeah.
um which can be fun. But yeah, I don't know. It's not like I had like one moment. It's just like these
Yeah,
slow little buildings. And then I had this like crazy realization that it's, people are like, oh, I got to work on myself. And then you work on yourself and you get better, but then it's like you keep working on yourself. Like working on yourself is eternal. It's endless. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you can never necessarily like get to your best self. You can always just like keep growing and like, and not like that. I guess maybe could make some people sad, but that makes me like really happy. Like, okay, like I will forever just be like getting better and better,
Yeah, right. Just like
aging like that
like a
fine wine.
spiral that you're like going more and
Yeah.
more inward and you're like getting closer.
Yeah. And it's fun to like get older and older and actually like see yourself getting wiser too. That's like a crazy feeling that I've
Totally.
only like really just started to like tap into, but I'm like, wow, I'm actually learning things and I'm changing patterns in my life that I at one time wasn't able to or confident enough to or things like that, and that's kind of interesting. Just knowing, yeah. Also being kind to yourself, that's helpful. like,
Yeah.
like and
Yeah.
having humor with it all too. That someone told me that like even in your like even as you're trying to like better yourself, find the answers in the world, all of this stuff, find peace within yourself, like have humor to it, which
Hmm.
seems like a simple concept, but you kind of forget about it, especially when you're like in the spiritual world. You're like, everything's serious, like I gotta
Yeah.
be going for the white light at all times, you know what I mean? And then it's like, yeah, but we can laugh still,
Totally. Totally.
and
That's
and
cool.
that's nice. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Laughter has to fall into the you don't really think laughter has like a place in like spirituality or something, but it's like of course it does, because we all love to laugh. And why would that not be an essential, like true thing that like is so
Right.
important? I
Yeah.
totally agree. I think that's awesome. I think and this isn't to boost myself, but I do think that touring requires you to be like, you have to try at least to be centered. It'll, if you're not, it can totally throw you off the rails.
Oh
And
yeah.
it's not to say I've got it figured out, but because touring is hard. There are times when I feel, even though it's my dream, it is difficult. But I remember earned a lot of respect for you and your band after our show in Greenville. We all went back to we went back to this house, and everyone was just up and everyone was like drinking, like partying, and y'all were like, we got to go to bed. It was like super late. And y'all, I just remember y'all were like in the living room and y'all just like zipped up in your sleeping bags on like a carpet and just like all just like knocked out. And I was just like, how? I was like, how are they asleep? Like, I was like, these are true road warriors. They're like so content. They're just like, oh, this is a nice corner. Okay, good night. And then Nikki's just
Oh
going.
yeah.
I was so
You
impressed.
just gotta you gotta get the sleep in. I know that's what's like that's the funny thing to me is, I mean, like we have fun for sure, but it's, people are like, oh, you guys are raging all the time. I'm like, honestly, I'm just trying to find a place to sleep most of the time. You know what I mean? Like to keep my energy up.
Yeah.
But sure, you can have your fantasies. No, but
Yeah, right.
but no, I feel that same way about touring. Like I know a lot of people who don't like touring is because they never feel like they found home. Like I've had people say that to me, like I just never feel comfortable or like in my space. But for me, like I find it pretty easy to like pick up and make my own space wherever I'm at. And so maybe that's why I don't mind touring. Like I actually enjoy
Yeah.
it a lot.
Yeah,
And
totally.
that's been an interesting thing with this year too, is a lot of friends and people that I know are like, actually I don't like touring. I don't really want to do that as much. And whereas I'm like, dude, I want to tour,
Yeah, totally.
I miss it.
I
So
totally agree.
kind of interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, it's for me, like studying Jesus, it's like I kind of feel like I'm doing the most, like I mean I obviously everyone can't tour, so I'm not saying everyone should do it, but like I feel lucky because I feel like I'm living the most similar story to Jesus, where he just like walked around and just like talks to people and he just like travels to another place. I'm like, that's cool. Like I get to literally just be like homeless and just like sleep on people's couches and like only enjoy the things because I don't like all the other stuff anyway. So it's like, to me, it feels like a spiritual thing,
Yeah.
to be out there. But it is hard, but yeah, I feel very centered. So when I'm out there more so
Yeah.
than I do when I'm at home and I wake up and I'm like, what do I do? Like, how do I don't know how to clean my room. Like, I don't know how to do anything when I'm here. Like, I'm totally lost. So I just want to live more light and I
Yeah.
can't.
Yeah. It is. Yeah. It's different. That it is weird being like so stationary, but
Yeah.
it's also taught us how to be stationary. We're just becoming better, well-rounded people.
Yeah, you're right. That's a really great perspective, and I do think that is true. I appreciate you taking time to talk to me today. Like, it's a total honor to have you talk to me on my
I'm so
show. So
happy.
I appreciate you
It was
hitting me
great
up
to
about
talk
it.
to you. Yeah,
Yeah,
of course, man. Yeah, I was excited. So I'm glad we got to catch up via Zoom.
yeah, me too. And I hope to see you again sometime. Maybe sooner,
I
maybe
know.
later.
Yeah,
But yeah,
let's play some new songs for each other. That'd be fun.
I would love that
We'll do
too.
some a
So,
porch hang. Yeah.
yeah, please, anytime. Very
Cool. Well, I'll talk to you later.
Talk to you later, Nikki. Bye bye. Thank you.
Bye.